All right, so the results are in, and boy, do we have a lot to go over. We're going to go over everything from yesterday's elections, the November 4th elections. This is the morning of November 5th that I'm recording this. We're going to go over Virginia. We're going to go over New Jersey. We're going to go over Pennsylvania. We are going to go over some of the direct ballot initiatives, such as the California Prop 50. We are, of course, going to cover the New York City mayoral results. We are going to cover it all and so much more. We have so much to get to, and I don't want to bury the lead too much here, but in general, we saw a complete rebuke of Republican candidates, their ideals down to the actual direct ballot initiatives. We've even seen a rebuke of your more establishment Democratic politicians. This night went about as good as it could get, with a few exceptions. Of course, we'll cover them here. But as someone who identifies as like a progressive or socialist, whatever you want to call me, honestly, I don't really care. I just want good things for people. No matter what side of the political aisle you're on, even if I hate your guts. Like, if you're MAGA, I hate your guts, but I still want you to have free healthcare. You know what I mean? But anyways, for someone like myself, this is the first time in a long time, at least the first time this year, that I felt some semblance of hope. And hey, we might make it through this. Now, I'm sure when I cover the news tomorrow, all that's going to fade away. But for now, I'm feeling pretty good. Anyways, well, let's just go ahead and dive into this. There will be timestamps in the description below if you want to jump around. We're going to start off hot, and we are starting off with the mayoral election results. So starting with New York City, Zohran Mamdani is now the mayor-elect for New York City. He trashed Cuomo, all right? 50.4% to 41.6%, beat him by about 181,000 votes. We still have about 9% of the votes that need to be counted. We're at 91% counted. I expected Curtis Lewa to get more, and honestly, I wish he would have got more. I think we should have some kind of legislation or something in place where the person who gets the third most amount of votes, they should get night shift mayor or vice mayor. God, Curtis Lewa, he's one of the last actual principled Republicans. A lot of his policies and a lot of what he stands for is terrible, but he isn't fake. He actually believes what he's saying, and I respect that so much. Anyways, Andrew Cuomo, fuck you. You're done. You're done. This is what happens when you run a campaign based on literally nothing, based on just, quite frankly, Islamophobic, racist attacks. And completely just being kind of obviously the MAGA candidate. You were essentially endorsed by Trump, endorsed by Elon, endorsed by Stephen Miller, and you towards the end you started talking about how diversity is our weakness. What are you, fucking Pete Hegseth? Jesus Christ. And of course the blatant lies he spreads about Mamdani, saying that he spreads anti-Semitic messaging and saying he would celebrate 9/11, and he's literally MAGA, down to the people who donate to him and down to the sexual pest fucking crimes that he commits. Anyways, if you voted for Andrew Cuomo, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What is going through your mind? I can understand the people who voted for Curtis Lewa. But Andrew Cuomo, what are you doing? What are you doing? You are no better than a MAGA supporter. All right. Just going to keep it $1.50. Anyways, I digress. This is what happens when you run a shit campaign and stand for nothing. You got beat by a openly Muslim socialist. How does that feel? And Like, I don't say that to be bigoted or anything, but it spells like a lot of hope, because despite what, like, because like Muslim and socialist, and of course Trump's out there calling him communist, but he's actually a socialist, democratic socialist. Those are like boogeymen words to the average American. So for him to just destroy Cuomo so handedly, despite the millions of dollars being pumped against him, like just all of the Islamophobic attacks, like, I hope this is a wake up call to the Democratic Party that, like, you need to shift to more progressive messaging, like policies that actually help the working class and the average American. Anyways, so here's a somewhat interesting one, and just, kind of a good one. So Corey Bowman is apparently Vice President J.D. Vance's half brother, and he's a pastor and a coffee shop owner. And he just got destroyed by the incumbent Aftab Pure Evil. I don't know how to say that. Pure Evil. I don't know anything about his policies, but like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be this like shallow and like just, shallow of a take, but like, it's not JD Vance's half brother, so that's good enough for me. All right, we are lib central today. I'm not a progressive today. I'm not a socialist today. I'm not a communist today. Today, I am a full-on liberal. All right. Atlanta. Again, this is another one that I don't think was very consequential. Honestly, I didn't follow some of these very well, so don't really take anything I say here, like, at all. But Mayor, the incumbent won. Andre Dickens won another 4 years in the office he's held since 2022. So he faced 3 opponents, including an LGBTQ advocate, a former police officer, and a community organizer. Again, I don't really know anything about any of these people. So, but he 85% of the vote, like, he killed it. Okay. Anyways, Detroit City Council President Mary Sheffield she'll become the Detroit's first female mayor after defeating Reverend Solomon Kinloch. Okay, so again, these two are listed as nonpartisan. I don't really know much about either of them, but I'm gonna assume Mary is probably the ideal choice here, considering they're like, if you're a reverend, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be instantly a little bit sus about you. All right, just to put it nicely. But yeah, a commanding victory here. Jersey City, we have this is actually going to go into a runoff, and it's going to be James Solomon versus Jim McGreevey. I'd say, I think these two are like both like Democrat leaning. I want to say that Jim McGreevey's like your more establishment Democrat type, and James Solomon, I guess you could say, is the progressive here. I don't know a ton about these two. That's about all I can give you for that. But that is going to go to a runoff because James Solomon got 29%. And Jim McGreevey got 25.4%. 2,158 vote difference. Nice. That's close. So that's going to go to a runoff, and we'll see what happens there. But I believe both of these two are Democratic leading. So libs, perk up. We are winning today. I am tired of winning already, and we're just getting started. Pittsburgh, the Democratic candidate won, not even close, 87.5% to 12.5%. Corey O'Connor, I don't know much about him, but like, as I said, today I'm a lib. I am libbed up, and I'm happy when I feel very ashamed saying this, but like, just seeing Republicans lose is good. All right. This isn't the Curtis Sliwa Republican Party that has like actual values or principles. This is the Republican Party that is blindly backing fascism and the unitary executive theory and just complete authoritarian control. All the power lays in Trump's hands. These are the people who are openly supporting cutting 17 million people off their health care, cutting food stamp benefits, Meals on Wheels, just So many things. So today, I am a proud lib. Buffalo, no surprises here. Democrat Sean Ryan takes the cake, 72.3%, 20,000 votes ahead. So this is a very interesting one that I've been loosely following, and I'm interested to see how it goes here because this is a ranked choice election. So we have the incumbent Jacob Frey currently leading, but in order for you to just run away with the victory in the first round, like kind of like similar how Zohran did in the New York City primaries, you need like above 50% of the vote. So he did not get above 50%. Jacob Frey is a fraud. He's he's an establishment Democrat. And he was endorsed by Tim Walz, which just, man, that felt like a stab to the chest because Tim Walz, like, I had a lot of respect for because of his record as governor of Minnesota. But for him to just turn around and endorse Jacob Frey, the dude who like screamed like fraud and like kind of pulled a Donald Trump when he lost the endorsement for the Democratic Labor Party or whatever in Minnesota. But like, yeah, fuck him. But he is currently ahead. But the interesting part here is he's not that far ahead. So above Omar Fata, he is only 14,000 ahead. I would have loved to see Omar just run away with this, but it was going to be close, and we knew that. But the thing here is that the other candidates, so Jazz Hampton and Reverend Dwayne Davis, have urged their supporters to rank each other to block Frey's reelection. So Fatah, Jazz Hampton, and Reverend Dwayne Davis have all agreed to rank each other. Basically just bury Frey. So it's going to be interesting to see how this advances in the second and, maybe third rounds of voting. So I'll be following this very closely. Let's just cross your fingers for Omar. All right, that wraps up the mayor. Now we have the Virginia election results. So as expected, and this was a flip seat, flipping party control because the current governor of Virginia is Republican. It is now going to Abigail Spanberger. I have no love for Abigail. She's CIA. She is like establishment you can get. Okay. But right now, again, better than the Republican alternative, like it's not even close. And they won commandingly, 57.5 to 42.3. Please, Democrats, don't use this as your shining example on how to run campaigns. Like, please, for the love of God. All right, Attorney General Jay Jones. That's interesting that he pulled it out. I don't know much about Jay Jones except that like a group chat or something leaked about him. Like he's like, yeah, I want to kill Republicans or something like that. So, but I'm a lib today. Dark woke. Shout out to Jay Jones and Lieutenant Governor, of course, the Democrat Ghazala Hashmi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it always makes me wonder. It's like, so Abigail got 57.5% and Ghazala got 55.6. It's like who voted for like the blue for the actual governor and then like red for the lieutenant governor. It's like, what are you thinking? It's like, what's your reasoning here? It's like, are you just trolling? Do you want to see something interesting? Anyways, that's it for Virginia. Another good day for good race for Democrats. New Jersey governor election results. I don't think we really expected anything different here, but we have Mikie Sherrill, the Democrat, winning this. Again, I think this is just another, like, I don't know a ton about them, but just kind of like another standard establishment Democrat. But again, better than the Republican alternative for the reasons that I'm not going to bore you with repeating a million times. So that's it for New Jersey. So another just big FU to Republicans. And then let's look. This is where it just I love direct ballot measure like initiatives. They are awesome, and I think we should do a lot more of these. Even though Republican governors can just say like, "Yeah, you're guaranteed like paid sick leave and all that." Like, I know you voted for it, but we're just gonna kind of veto that. Like, if the people vote for it, it should happen in majority of cases. Anyways, let's look. So from Maine, we have question 1, require photo ID and restrict access to pre-election voting. Guess what? 63.9% voted no. So like this is kind of based on the framework of President Trump that he's pushing, like require photo ID, like proof of citizenship, no mail-in voting, no early voting, nothing like that. And Maine said, nope, that is not happening here. And here's another one. This is just common sense. Prohibit gun possession for people courts rule a threat. Pretty much within the same margins here. 63.2% said yes. I think that's common sense. As someone who's probably separate from a lot of other leftists, like I'm relatively pro Second Amendment. Like there's a lot of area that I disagree with leftists on that in terms of that, but that's a whole nother video. Anyways, but this seems like common sense to me, so that is good. I'd say definitely the first one here, just an absolute rebuke of Republican and Trump ideology. And then we have Colorado Proposition MM, and this is an amazing one. Fund school meals and SNAP. Colorado voters approved a measure to increase taxes on high-income families and use the money to fund universal free breakfast and lunch for K-12 students. This measure builds on a universal free meals program that voters approved in 2022. This is awesome. Yes, 58.1%. Easy peasy, good things. Like, this is like, see what we're doing here in like Maine and Colorado, like kind of like substantive measures. And then let's get to Texas. Let's see what Texas is direct voting on. All right. Proposition 15. This measure enshrines in the state constitution that the idea that a parent has a responsibility to nurture and protect a parent's child and the corresponding fundamental right to exercise care, custody, and control of the parent's child, including the right to make decisions concerning the child's upbringing. I don't really know what any of that means, but I guess they want to enshrine that into their state constitution. Like, I'm not really sure what the point of this is. I'm not really in the sauce on this one, but like, good for you, Republicans. I guess you get some more protection. So like, if you beat your kids and stuff and just treat them like shit, like, yeah, you have more, you're more protected from the state taking them from you, I guess. Okay. And then what else does Texas got going on? Proposition 16, amend the Texas Constitution to require U.S. citizenship to vote. Non-citizens were already prohibited from voting in Texas by state law. Oh, wow. So strange. The measure adds the restriction to the state constitution, making it harder to change in the future. Okay. Good for you, Texas. Good for you. Good things. Good things. And then probably the most important one that people are interested in, California, Proposition 50, basically getting permission from the voters to redraw California's congressional map to do some gerrymandering over their own in response to like what they're doing in Texas and other red states across the country, trying to just openly gerrymander and get more Republican seats. So since California had like a independent redistricting commission, they had to actually like get approval to overturn that and say, hey, we're done with that. We're going full Democrat, baby. All right. That's all we have for that. Next, Pennsylvania Supreme Court results. No surprises here. All 3 judges have been elected to retain their seats. You have Justice Doherty, Justice Donahue, and Justice Wetch. So they all retain their seat. I don't think there has been like, I think it's rare that like a judge doesn't retain their seat. And then special election results for the Texas House 18. This was for a Democrat who passed away, Sylvester Turner, in office. just weeks after coming to Washington. Jesus Christ, Democrats. So it's going to go into a runoff between Christian Menefee and Amanda Edwards. As far as I know, I haven't really been following this, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But Christian Menefee seems to be the more progressive choice, I believe, to my knowledge, and Amanda Edwards would represent like a more establishment Democrat type situation, kind of like with the James Sullivan that we talked about earlier. And this just builds on, what I've been saying. Like, not only have we seen a rebuke of the Republican Party as a whole, we're also seeing a reasonable shift towards more progressive Democratic candidates. And I think that is very important and just something to keep an eye on moving forward. And hopefully this can at least drag the Democratic Party just a little bit more to the left, because the whole political aisle has shifted so far to the right now, like I'm drowning. And then just a little bit of teaser, just a little bit of cherry at the top. Give a refresh, make sure there's nothing new. Donald Trump had a meltdown. Trump wasn't on the ballot, and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. It's like, yeah, maybe you should. Trump was on the ballot, whatever that means. Yeah, and the shutdown, it's like almost like you should come to the negotiating table and actually try to make a deal, Mr. Art of the Deal. Instead, you're just like posting sombrero memes, posting on every government website on how it's the radical Democrats' fault, whatever. Republicans terminate the filibuster, get back to passing legislation and voter reform. So it sounds like he's ordering Republicans in the Senate to just say like, hey, you don't need 60 votes, just go with a simple majority. I feel like he's even saying like that for the CR. Imagine if Republicans just said, all right, we don't need 60 votes. We're going to go 53 or whatever we have. And boom, we're going to pass this through. Jesus Christ. What is going on here? And then, I don't really know what he's on about here. He just kind of goes word salad. Pass voter reform, voter ID, no mail-in ballots, save our Supreme Court from packing, no two-state edition, terminate the filibuster. And then after it officially broke just how terrible of a night it was for Republicans, and especially in New York City with Andrew Cuomo losing to Zohran Mamdani, he says, and so it begins, whatever that means. I say we're now at a non-0% chance, especially with Trump saying like we're going to begin testing nuclear weapons again. I'd say it's definitely a non-0% chance that Trump tests a nuclear bomb on New York City. I'd say definitely non-zero. So amazing night. And if you are on the left-leaning side of the aisle, you should be very happy. If you are a lib, you should be also very happy. It's been amazing. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.